Good evening and Happy New Year to everybody. David Root, I'm the county attorney. As is customary, this is my 3 minutes of fame every year where I start the meeting out until someone is elected as the chair. So we'll start it that way. Before we go, I wanted to introduce our new administrator, Stuart Jones. He'll have some comments for y'all, and I'm sure get plenty of opportunities to talk to him. So with that said, let's start out with a moment of silence. Pray with me if you'd like to. Well, dearest Father, thank you for this day that you've given us. Thank you for the air you give us to breathe and the ability to breathe it. And this new year, I pray for your guidance, for counsel, for staff, for the county, so they can serve the citizens of this county, make good moves, do right decisions by your wisdom and by your light, shining and guiding forward. Pray in your name. Amen. Amen. Jennifer, would you lead off the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the December 2nd, 2025 regular meeting minutes?
Make the motion. Second.
Are there any changes, edits, anything? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That is 5-0.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from December 19th, 2025 special meeting?
Make a motion. Second.
Any discussion on amendments, edits? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That is 5-0.
All right. So move to election of officers. First item is the council chairman. Do I have a nomination for council chair?
I make a motion, I'd like to make a nomination. Matthew Durham.
Are there any other nominations? All right, Mr. Durham, are you going to accept?
Yes, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
That is 5-0.
Less than 3 minutes.
Okay, we move on to nomination for council vice chairman. I would like to nominate Mr. Diamaz.
I second that.
Mr. Mize, all in favor?
That is 5-0.
Okay, next is nomination for council chairman pro tem,
I'd like to nominate Tommy James.
Tommy James. Any other nominations? Here none, all in favor of Mr. James?
Aye.
That is 5-0.
Okay, next we move to appointment of appointed officials. Need a nomination to appoint clerk to council. I nominate Miss Jennifer Adams.
I second.
Any other nominations? Here none, all in favor?
Aye.
That is 5-0.
Next nomination for council chaplain. Nominate Mr. David Root.
Second.
Any other nominations? All in favor?
Aye.
That is 5-0.
Okay. Next is appointment of council committees for 2026 by chairman. I'm going to read them out. There's only small change from last year. For budget, finance, administration, I will chair it along with the rest of council. Law enforcement, public safety, health and welfare, Mr. Mize chair, Mr. Hart and Mr. James serving on the committee. For transportation, Mr. Hart chair with myself and Mr. Elliott serving on the committee. For planning and economic development, Mr. James chair with Mr. Mize and Mr. Hart serving on the committee. For real estate facilities and land management, Mr. Elliott to chair with Mr. Mize and Mr. James on the committee.
Have a motion to affirm the appointments?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
That is 5-0.
Okay, appointments of council representatives by chairman. No changes to last year's appointments. For SC Appalachian Council of Government, it's Mr. Hart. For council representative, Mr. David Underwood. For citizen representative, and for minority representative, Mr. Wayne Wright. Have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
That is 5-0.
All right. needed to turn the page here for, let's see here, for Oconee Economic Alliance Board member, reappoint Mr. Don Miles for 2026. Have a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting schedule establishment for council and committees. I'd like to make a motion to approve both the county council meeting schedule and council committee schedule as Ms. Jennifer sent out.
I have one question.
Yeah.
So the special meetings on February 20th and 27th, what's the purpose of those meetings?
Ms. Jennifer, what, was that the
20th
budget?
is the strategic planning retreat, and the 27th is the budget workshop.
Okay. Any other questions? Do we have a motion to approve as provided?
So make a motion.
Any other discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
That is 5-0.
Next, we have county attorney comments. Mr. David Root,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have nothing further.
nothing further. County administrator comments. I feel like we should introduce Mr. before we get going. Stuart, we really appreciate you coming to Oconee County. Oconee County's a special place with special people, and we're a tight-knit community. And we're thankful that you chose to come here to serve the citizens of Oconee County, and we're fully confident in your ability to lead this county. And with that, I'd just like to turn it over to you for comment.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, Council. I want to thank you for your confidence in me. It's kind of funny being on this side of it. A couple times when you were making motions, I about made the motion to approve because of things I said. So, but what you're doing, I'm very thankful for the work you're doing. Oconee, I'm convinced, is the most beautiful county in the whole state of South Carolina. You guys really have a special place here. And so I'm just very honored to be a part of this, to be a part of your team. This is only my second day, but I've got to give credit too to Mr. Phil Shirley. This guy is an asset to Oconee County in the work he does, and he is filling me in. The past 2 days, he has crammed me with information. And so some people have said, "Are you drinking from a fire hose yet?" And I'm telling them, no, I'm drinking from Lake Eowyn. So I appreciate it, and it's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Public comment session. So we have 5 minutes. At 4 minutes, I will hold up a yellow warning sign. At 5 minutes, I hold up the red stop sign. We're gonna try something new. I believe we're gonna have a timer on the screens. See it right there? So that kind of give you a little bit of a warning yourself as you speak, so I don't have to run a stopwatch and lose track of time half the time myself too. So with that said, Ms. Jennifer?
Kathy Plowden.
Good evening, gentlemen. And welcome, Mr. Jones. We're very glad to have you. This is a request to my fellow Oconeeites. I took some pictures that I will share with you in October of the old courthouse. And after I took those pictures, I did a little research and discovered that 33 years ago, when my husband David worked in that building, water was already running down the walls. And the roof that was leaking was not fixed because a new courthouse was being built. And a beautiful new courthouse was built nearly 25 years ago. It is my understanding that there were cost overruns when we built that courthouse, and some of the money to cover those costs was what was in the budget to demolish the old courthouse. Over 15 years ago, several developers, including John Powell, looked into the possibility of salvaging the building. Nothing came of this. It actually made John sick to go in the building. 3 years ago, Luther Lyle did an excellent presentation to the county council to have the old courthouse raised. That council voted unanimously to get quotes to do so. Nothing came of that. A year ago, and the Seneca Journal did run a story about the presentation at the vote at that time. A year ago, I contacted the then county administrator, Amanda Brock, to ask why nothing had been done. She said she was the holdup, that she was working with Thomas Alexander to get a grant to save the building. She said they needed that building for 3 county offices. Since then, I have contacted the Journal 3 times to run a story. They have not done so. I've contacted Thomas Alexander twice to see how he thinks this building might be salvaged. He has not responded, which is unusual. I have contacted him before and gotten a response. After my initial contact with Amanda Brock, she did not respond to my emails. I also emailed the county council twice and got no response. So I'm reaching out to this new council to ask what you think. I will share these pictures with you and wonder if you think the building is salvageable, and if so, would you please salvage it? And if you don't think it's salvageable, would you do what the previous council voted to do and get some quotes and deal with this building? Now, I'm somebody who believes you should save everything that you can save. I love that Luther Lyles saved the building of the Cherokee Museum. I believe at some point this building was salvageable. I'm afraid now it's too late. It's dangerous, filled with mold and plant life. I actually had a piece of the building fall on my car. It's a liability to the county. It's an eyesore in an otherwise beautiful city. I am a member of St. John's Lutheran Church, and we are a neighbor to the courthouse. Our building is far older than the courthouse and has been properly maintained for 175 years. We are about to embark on a $1 million plus renovation for our building. It makes us very frustrated and very sad to look across from our building into the courthouse. One of the pictures that I'm sharing with you is an air conditioning unit that tumbled off the roof to the ground. That space where it hit the ground is where people go away from the courthouse to smoke and talk privately on the phone. I've seen children near the building as well. It frightens me that someone might actually get hurt. So I'm asking you fervently to please do what should be done with this building. I'd also like to share the petition. I think that goes to you. There's 66 signatures on this petition. And that's what I have to say. So I hope you can consider this and please do something about that building.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Ms. Catherine Myers? Myers.
Good evening. My husband and son and I have recently moved to Oconee County from Greenville, South Carolina, where we've lived almost all my life, and love the area. Excited to be here. We moved here this past summer, and just as a little background, what I'm here to talk to you about first is regarding your animal control laws. And the reason this matters so much to me is we have a son that when he was in first grade, he prayed every night that my husband would agree to give him a dog, and that was all he ever wanted was a dog. And we were at Falls Park in Greenville, downtown, and we were just walking by, and he was running like kids do, and there was a dog that had a leash on, following all the laws, jumped up and bit him on his arm as hard as could be, and I had to physically pull the dog off, ripped his shirt, and made marks on his arm. He ran off screaming, and after that, had no desire for a dog again, as you can imagine. So after a while, he started saying, well, I want a cat now, because my mom and dad had a cat, and so he really wanted a cat. So he convinced my husband eventually, went to the Humane Society, rescued this part Maine Coon cat, which grew to be this huge cat. He's like 16 to 18 pounds. And we brought him to our home, and it was wonderful. Then our older son came home, and he has allergies to cats. And so he had been off at college and came back, and so we're like, well, we're going to have to make him be an indoor-outdoor cat. And at the time, we had no idea there was a problem with indoor-outdoor cats, because everyone in our neighborhood had indoor-outdoor cats, and we saw them all the time. And so he would go outside, and he'd lay on the back porch. Occasionally, he'd go to a neighbor's yard, then he'd come back. No big deal. We lived there for, it's been almost 5 years, and then we moved here. And we brought our cat to our house. The cat had been outside, in and out, sort of the same way, but he was a little scared because he was getting acclimated to the neighborhood. And he would run across the neighbor's yard into this, I guess basically there was like a cove there and a cul-de-sac, an area that's just all wooded, nobody lived there. And there was like this little drain pipe, and he'd lay right beside it. And so you could pretty much see him, but he was there because he was just sort of scared, but yeah, he didn't want to be just inside. So anyway, we thought no big deal. Well, the neighbor's wife called me and started saying, it's horrible, how dare you have a cat outside? It could be killed in front of us, and then that'd be horrible. And I'm like, well, I don't think anything's gonna happen. There's wild animals. And I said, well, there were in our neighborhood too, but it should be okay. We feel comfortable, but, you know, we'll make sure he's not out at night. We take good care of him. He's a strong cat. He can climb the trees, all these things. So they said, my husband talked to her husband, and he said, we'll help acclimate the cat to the neighborhood. He was explaining how he's just getting used to things. Well, 2 days later, the neighbor calls back and says, you know what? We've looked up the laws. The laws say you have to have your cat restrained at all times. And I'm like, really? So we looked up and found out Greenville County has the same law. We didn't know that. So the laws are pretty similar. So we're like, okay, well then what do we do here? So we're trying to figure out how we can make things work. And so we thought, okay, they told us, they said, well, just get a leash and just put a stake in the ground. And then we went to let him outside for just a little while. And we're like, okay, well, we'll try that. Well, he got his way out of a leash, out of the collar. So we bought a harness. That didn't work either. Then we put him up on our back porch, which is really high, the deck, and there's no stairs. We thought, well, this will be safe. When he wants to go out, we'll put him on there. He jumped off the side. I have a little video I can show you if you want to see. And we're like, what do we do here? And so we're really, really trying very hard. And now it's at the point where we don't just let him out. We let him be inside, and we'll let him just on the porch, and I'll stand on the back porch. But he's gotten out 2 or 3 times when somebody's come to the door, because he just, you know, you can't really keep a cat that's used to going in and out just inside. And we've really tried, I mean, to the point to where it's really, really frustrating. Unfortunately, the neighbors have called animal control multiple times, and to the point where I've just been in tears. The officers have come and have been wonderful. There's a guy named Officer Leonard who has been the most sweet, loving, understanding guy ever. And he's come in, held our cat, said, oh yeah, this is a sweet, loving cat. He's big cat. We've got his rabies shots. He's taken care of. So I guess my question to you guys is, what is the intent of the law? The intent, I feel like, and when you look up, and it says, when should you call animal control? It says you should call animal control for a neighbor for issues like neglect, no food, water, shelter, vet care, abuse, dangerous, aggressive animals, hoarding, illegal activity, dogfighting, trafficking, or if a pet poses a public safety concern. It's best to try talking to the neighbors first. If they're dog attacks or bites, if they're dangerous animals, cruelty, abuse, illegal activity. So that's the intent, in my opinion. I don't feel like the intent is if you have a cat that gets out some. I'd love to be able to say, let's rewrite it and let you have an indoor outdoor cat, but if we can't do that, at the very least, they have called, I think 4 or 5 times, to the point where the officer has said, I feel like I'm being harassed. They send pictures, they have cameras and everything. And if the cat crosses their yard, then that's the problem. And the wife's like, I don't want my yard to become a litter box. And I said, well, he doesn't go on the grass ever. One time he went on the pine straw on the very edge of their yard, and he covered it all up. And I said, I'll come clean it. I really will. Anyway, I know I'm back out of time. But if there's a way to clarify, to add something to this law, if we could change it, great. If not, at the very least, my request is to put some clarification in there. I now have a court case I have to go. Next week, in front of a judge, because the citations they've given me, they don't just give you a fine, you have to go there and get a citation. So anyway, I know I'm out of time, but thank you. Sorry.
Thank you. Good timing.
Yes, we're recovering. Anyway, that's my request.
Thank you, ma'am.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. Any other comments?
That's it for this evening.
Okay, council member comments?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I request that the Law Enforcement, Public Safety, and Welfare Committee review the animal control ordinance to see if this cat issue, can be addressed. Also, I have handed out a package about data centers to council, county administrator, county attorney, council clerk. I request that the package be attached to minutes. The first several pages are from the Upstate Today, better known as the Journal, written by the Charleston Post and Courier. It was in the editorial. It highlights the data center issue in Walterboro County. South Carolina State Senator Tom Davis is highlighted in this article. Next, you will find several pages highlighting the situation that took place in the town of Tarboro, North Carolina, concerning data centers. After those pages is an attempt by a group in Florida drafting ordinance addressing data centers. We need to be proactive in addressing data centers. We need to protect our citizens from high utility costs, dirty water, and noise. I challenge council and the planning commission to move swiftly on this issue. In last night's planning commission meeting, Teresa Spicer got the ball rolling, had it placed on next month's planning commission agenda. Again, we need to be proactive and move swiftly. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Elliott. Any other comments? Ms. Plowden, I'd like to comment some on the courthouse.
Okay, thank you.
You had some pictures like maybe inside from windows, but the courthouse, in my view, is not salvageable. I mean, if you go in there, it's just, it has
I
its
was
own,
afraid to go in.
it has its own ecosystem.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when the county built the new courthouse, they didn't develop a plan to demolish the other one. We did take a vote some time ago to receive bids to tear it down. We never received bids back to council. So we need to, as far as I'm concerned, that vote still is on the record, and I'll follow it with Stuart, and he'll follow it with procurement and see where we stand on that. But if anybody goes in there, the amount of money it would take to salvage it, I mean, you could tear it down and build a new one. But I understand the concerns y'all have with your church and the county needs to be good neighbors. And, I do appreciate you coming up and bringing those concerns. Ms. Mias, I have no idea about the leash laws, and I don't know if David has it pulled up. Does it say a cat has to be on a leash?
It's all owned animals, yeah.
Owned animals, could that be cattle?
No, it did exclude, it excluded agricultural ones, although I do keep my, no, I'm just, so yes, it does say all animals. So that could be, if y'all were so inclined, could be revised.
Yeah, cause I don't think it's typical to put a cat on a leash.
No, I think the restraint here is probably just keeping them from wandering
Yeah.
to other, parties' properties and such.
But I agree, we probably should look at that and dive deeper.
That'll
Thank
be
you
on
for-
the law enforcement.
The code of ordinances is this big, and I've read them over the years, but you don't catch all kind of crazy stuff that's in those, so, thank you. Any other comments? Not hearing none, let's move forward to where are we at? Councilmember comment? We have no third readings, we have 2 second readings. We begin with ordinance 2025-26, an ordinance to amend section 28-9, used in waste tires of chapter 28, solid waste management of the Oconee County Code of Ordinances to align the same with the 2025 amendments to Sac-Line Code section 44-96-170 Echo and Foxtrot relating to waste tire receipt and fees and other related matters.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion? Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Next we have ordinance 2025-27, an ordinance to revise and expand the local contractor vendor preference provisions contained in the Oconee County Procurement Code.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
As I discussed with Mr. James prior to the meeting, there was a request from staff to increase, so by way of an amendment, and I'll just request an amendment, a motion to amend, to change section 5.2, which is a threshold when the local preferences apply, from 10,000 to 25,000. So it aligns with the advertising and formal bid requirements within the procurement code.
Okay, somebody make that motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion second. Any discussion on the amendment? Hearing none?
Yes. It's at 10,000 now.
Yes, it's set in the local preference ordinance.
In other words, somebody on, the governing body of the council or the county can pay up to 25,000 for something to be done. Is that what you're saying?
No, so with the local preference, it's not, I'm not gonna say a crazy excessive amount of administrative work that goes with it, but there's a lot of small purchases that are at $10,000, but it's really not gonna be applicable. But the advertising for solicitations, like the county needs to buy something over $25,000, that's when the formal solicitation process goes into play. So that's when it'd be clear, hey, this is subject to local preference. If you're a local contractor, do X, Y, Z to claim it. So it's just a matter of when it triggers that option. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions or comments on the amendment? Hearing all in favor of the amendment as stated?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, now, any other discussion on ordinance 2025-27?
Yes, sir. What changed on this amendment from the old one?
Could.
You go from,
Probably the easiest way to approach. So it's amendment. Apply to exclusions, evaluation preferences apply to 10,000 acre up to 25,000.
is that the same thing we did?
Yeah, that was the motion, that's all I got.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Ms. Father?
Next, we have board and commission appointments. For Building Codes Appeal Board, we do have still 2 at-large seats, but we have 1 applicant. So I'd like to nominate Mr. Paul Hecht to serve on the Building Codes Appeal Board. He turned in his application today, Ms. Jennifer, this afternoon. All in favor, Mr. Hecht?
Ms. Father?
All right. Now we need a motion to enter executive session for 2 items. Item number 2 was removed from the agenda. Item number 1 is to receive legal advice and discuss fiscal and accounting review processes. And next is to discuss personnel and recruitment issues related to the finance, planning, and legal department.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor? Need a motion to return from executive session?
Second.
All in favor? There's no actions that need to be taken following executive session, so somebody make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
First, second, all in favor? Man, you're getting slow.